Most people don't wake up one morning and decide they want to spend the next 20 years trapped in debt. Nobody dreams about making monthly payments forever. Nobody imagines working hard every day only to watch most of their paycheck disappear before they even get a chance to enjoy it. And yet, millions of Americans find themselves stuck in exactly that situation. What's interesting is that debt rarely begins with a major mistake. It begins with ordinary decisions: a car payment, a credit card, a finance purchase, a loan that seems manageable. Each decision feels small, reasonable, and harmless. But over time, those decisions stack on top of each other until a person realizes a large portion of their future income already belongs to someone else. The first step into the debt trap starts with a simple idea that sounds completely reasonable. If the monthly payment is affordable, then the purchase is affordable. This thinking is everywhere. Car dealerships focus on monthly payments. Furniture stores focus on monthly payments. Retailers offer financing that makes expensive purchases appear cheap. Instead of asking whether they can truly afford something, people ask whether they can squeeze another payment into their budget. That's a dangerous shift because it changes the focus from total cost to short-term affordability. Over time, people accumulate payments rather than assets. Every payment claims a piece of future income until eventually their paycheck arrives already spoken for. The second step is lifestyle inflation. Someone gets a raise, receives a promotion, or lands a better paying job. At first, they promise themselves they'll save more money. Then, reality kicks in. A nicer apartment seems justified. A newer car feels deserved. Better vacations feel reasonable. The problem is that every upgrade creates a new financial baseline. What once felt luxurious quickly becomes normal. Then, another raise arrives, and the cycle repeats. More income leads to more spending. More spending leads to more obligations. Before long, someone can be earning twice as much as they did 5 years ago while feeling exactly as stressed financially as before. The income increased, but the freedom never arrived. The third step is credit cards. Credit cards aren't inherently bad, but they become dangerous when they're used to fund a lifestyle that income can't support. One reason they're so powerful is that they remove the pain of spending. Swiping a card feels different than handing over cash. Small purchases feel insignificant. A coffee here, a meal there, some online shopping, a weekend purchase. None of them seem important in the moment. But over months and years, those purchases accumulate into large balances. Then, interest enters the picture. Suddenly, people aren't just paying for what they bought. They're paying for what they bought plus years of interest charges. Many Americans spend hundreds or even thousands of dollars simply for the privilege of borrowing money they already spent. The fourth step is social comparison. Social media has turned comparison into a daily habit. Every day, people scroll through images of luxury vacations, expensive vehicles, beautiful homes, and lifestyles that appear perfect. What they don't see are the financial realities behind those images. They don't see the debt. They don't see the stress. They don't see the monthly payments. They only see the highlight reel. Comparison creates dissatisfaction, and dissatisfaction often creates spending. People begin upgrading their lives to keep up with people they don't even know. Many of those purchases end up financed, creating even more debt. The fifth step is the normalization of debt. A few generations ago, debt was often viewed cautiously. Today, it's viewed as normal. Car loans are normal. Credit card balances are normal. Buy now, pay later programs are normal. Because debt has become so common, people stop questioning it. They assume everyone has payments and everyone is carrying balances. But normal doesn't always mean healthy. If everyone around you is financially stressed and living paycheck to paycheck, following the crowd may not lead to financial success. The sixth step is the lack of an emergency fund. Most people don't plan to go into debt because of emergencies. It simply happens when life gets expensive. The car breaks down, a medical bill arrives, a family emergency occurs. Without savings, credit becomes the default solution. The emergency gets handled, but now there's a balance to pay off. Then another emergency appears before the first one is fully paid down. This cycle repeats itself over and over, That's why emergency funds are so powerful. They create a buffer between life's problems and financial disaster. The seventh step is convenience spending. Modern life is designed to make spending effortless. Food delivery apps, ride-sharing services, subscriptions, and one-click purchases all remove friction from spending. Most purchases feel insignificant. $5 here, $10 there, $20 somewhere else. But when these expenses are added together, the numbers become shocking. Thousands of dollars often disappear every year on purchases that provide only temporary satisfaction. That money could have been used to eliminate debt, build savings, or invest for the future. The final steps are believing future income will solve today's problems and expecting instant results. Many people assume the next raise or promotion will fix everything, but future income often arrives alongside future expenses. More income rarely solves spending problems when spending habits remain unchanged. At the same time, modern culture encourages instant gratification. People want the house now, the car now, and the lifestyle now. Debt allows people to accelerate consumption, but it often delays freedom. The reward comes immediately, while the consequences arrive later. Eventually, later becomes today, and many people realize they've spent years financing a lifestyle that prevented them from building wealth. The good news is that debt traps aren't permanent. People escape them every day. The path out usually isn't complicated. Spend less than you earn. Stop adding new debt. Build an emergency fund. Pay down high-interest balances. Avoid lifestyle inflation. Focus on ownership instead of appearances. None of these steps are exciting, but they work. Financial freedom is rarely built through dramatic decisions. It's built through consistent decisions, repeated over time. The average American gets trapped in debt one small decision at a time, and the average American escapes debt the same way. One payment at a time. One better choice at a time. 1 month at a time. Because the real goal isn't just becoming debt-free. The real goal is creating a life where your paycheck belongs to you again. And that's when financial freedom finally begins.